Y'all see the title, man. Let's get to it.
You get paid off of potential. Most of our young kids coming now, we don't know how great they're gonna be, but yet they got 5-year guaranteed, millions of dollars. We earn what we got. Now they get that before they play one game. When you get something so easily, you're not gonna work as hard.
Yup, the NBA has a problem because if this
And that's a fact. And that's a
doesn't
fact.
change, the league is doomed. Even with this new in-season tournament. But I'm gonna outline the problem and how the league has to fix it. Cause if you look at players, there's no motivation to play. No incentive because it's already handed to them.
Yo, for real, bro. For real. It's like I don't really see the intensity that I'm supposed to be seeing on the court, bro. Like I'm supposed to really be seeing like real gruesome defense. Like, no, you're not scoring. Like, I need my, like, if all this bread is being given out right now, why are we not trying to play extra hard? You know what I'm saying? You could get even more money. Like, what? Bruh, this shit killing me, man.
Zion had a $100+ million Nike deal before he even played one NBA game. One good season can warrant a big contract, $200 million+ of potential for the future. The NBA has grown since Jordan played, but his point is still valid. When MJ played, being the best and winning was the only way for generational wealth. It was linked and associated. Now, it's not. And
Now, everybody who you just play, you say you Gucci.
Generational wealth. It was linked and associated. Now, it's not. And Jordan's not the only player who's realized. The contracts have gone so high that goals have changed.
Now you have guys looking at the standard like, oh, all I gotta do is average 7 points and I can get $100 million a year.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn, like I gotta get X, Y, and Z for this next one. Like, damn. Because it was a criteria, all NBA and all stars. Like you had to, like it was a criteria. Like
but also our criteria too was winning. Like that was the thing. Like you gotta win. You gotta be getting in the playoff. Not no lottery team saying like, I did my part. I'm gonna still get paid. Like you had to be a winner. You know what I mean?
DeMar and Paul George are heated because the rules have changed. With new contracts and agreements, a lot of money is almost being just handed out willy-nilly. A player now has to be intrinsically motivated solely by being the best and winning. Because the money, it's there. And it's not just my concerns. Players are already worried on how the game is changing, especially with the new generations.
The contracts now are just ridiculous.
And that's what's scary about it. But there's a lot of guys, a lot of these young guys, I think that are going to kill everything that we worked for to get, you know what I mean, our CBA up to par. Yeah. I think it's going to come to a point where it's going to collapse because they're not taking this shit serious as we used to.
Fred VanVleet is making $40 million plus a year. Desmond Bane got $206 million contract. I thought that was reserved for superstars. I guess not. It's why Zion can sit, not be so involved with his teammates, and be unaffected because he got a bag. Heck, Ja got his big contract.
Like, yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I'm all for the players getting their money, bro. We gotta make it to where you saying you gotta play some hard defense this game. You get an extra 10 minutes, something like that. Like do something like that. Make them play hard, man. I don't know, bro. Like that's crazy.
And then got caught again showing a gun on IG Live. And then he claimed it was a toy. Huh? Zion Williamson has been exposed for engaging in multiple relationships that were transactional. Now, these aren't some players at the end of the bench. No, the NBA has spent hundreds of millions of dollars betting that these guys are the future of the league. And their consequences for their actions were some Twitter beef.
What?
An 8-game suspension, then 25-game suspension for a repeat offense. I did want to talk about this during the NBA Finals and take away from the Nuggets and Heat. But media outlets sure did, asking the NBA commissioner about the Josh situation during the finals, and Adam Silver was so distraught, I thought he might break down into tears.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
But if it was just the high money contracts, perhaps there could be an easy fix. But there's 3 key issues that's got fans and several players so worried they think the NBA might come crashing down. Starting with running away from the grind. What is up, dudes, that's ballers players? It's your boy MJ. Damian Lillard's agent is calling teams to specifically warn them against trading for Dame other than the Heat. Dame, the one guy that stood for loyalty, that threw shade over the years on other players.
Yeah, I've been hearing about this too. I've been hearing about this on the media. I gotta dive a little more
teaming
into
up, told Paul George to keep switching teams.
Yeah.
You boys as chumps demanded a trade, specifically to the Heat, 1 year after signing an extension. I guess Dame time ain't no more grind time. But he's not the first star to do that, and that's issue number one. Contracts are meaningless. KD asked for a trade and wanted to ditch Brooklyn before his contract expired, and Kyrie was seemingly ready to bounce too. But what KD did was,
that's why this joint is confusing to me, because I don't understand how they be signed for this many years, then be like, alright, never mind, I don't want to be here. You say, let me get up out of here. Like, what? The contract stuff is confusing.
Completely early, unprecedented. As arguably the best basketball player at the time, and as someone who just signed a brand new 4-year contract extension, KD turned around less than 365 days later, and even before his new contract would kick in, said, "What do you expect when I'm playing with these teammates?" And then demand a trade. And maybe if it was just Kevin Durant. Alright people, let's do this one last time. His name is Ben Simmons, another star who demanded a trade. Ben signed a 5-year, $177 million deal in 2020. And in 2021, Ben Simmons refused to play for the Sixers because he was scared to shoot the ball. And hurt by Doc and Embiid. Yes,
like, these guys are damn near gonna be billionaires. Like, some of these dudes could damn near be billionaires or halfway there by the end of their careers, man. And bro, that's crazy, bro. NBA
and got fined $19 million, but he missed over half the season and kept his contract, and is still making over $100 million, currently sitting on the bench. And we could go down lists like all the Spider-Men in the universe. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Paul George, all mainly starring with LeBron James, and a decision in 2010. Contracts don't mean anything for the upper tier stars who can force their way out. Back in 2019 and before NBA All-Star Weekend, Commissioner Adam Silver said, "I would just say blanketly, no, I don't like trade demands, and I wish they didn't come." No one likes to see an instance where a player is demanding that he be traded when he is still in the middle of contractual obligations to a team. Okay, notice how you acknowledge the situation as something that isn't good for the NBA, but still hasn't done anything to prevent it years later. The last straw was Dame, who is strongholding his current team to make sure that he gets on his preferred team, even though he doesn't even have a trade clause. That mindset trickles down to the rest of the league, but not in the way you might think. We all hear lead by example, right? Well, that's what leadership is doing. What are more average players doing?
What percentage of NBA players do you think don't love basketball?
50.
Money to guys who really want to win doesn't matter. It's just
I ain't gonna lie. Nah, facts. I feel like a lot of these guys are just out there for the check, my boys. Hey, girls. I feel like a lot of them out there for the check. They're not really out there trying to hoop. And that's really why you don't see the passion. You know what I'm saying? I
don't want to agree with Gilbert Arenas just because he's Arenas, but several
that energy rubs off, though, too. So when the other players not playing with passion and all that, and mad competitive, it's like, damn, like, it's not competitive. I'm just getting my buckets then. Like,
have confirmed what Patrick Beverley is saying, and that's issue number 2. Passion for the game might just be an all-time low. That doesn't mean skill, because a player can be really good without necessarily being passionate about the game. But what's lost in all that is a competitive edge, where the priority is winning. Look no further than the fall of the All-Star game, where ratings and competitiveness have fell faster than Marcus Smart flopping. Now, we have anti-flopping rules, but no incentive to play harder in the All-Star game. After the first year of new Kobe rules for the All-Star game in 2020, the game devolved to no defense, no effort. The same goes with the new in-season tournament. The big new thing the NBA is going to promote to counter the dipping ratings. As I've shown in the past, this era of viewership is much lower than several other eras. But again, what's the incentive for players to play? A prize pool? Here's why that's sort of stupid. According to the players, it's teams that force players to sit to load manage all for the playoffs. Why is adding a tournament, if it doesn't help a team in the playoffs, mean anything? The only prize here is money, and perhaps that's enough to incentivize players. Adam Silver has actually defended load management, saying there is medical data to support the current practice of load management throughout the league, and disagreed with the notion that too many players, especially stars, were sitting out of games without injury. Even if Paul George is out here saying that's what's causing injuries, which is a topic for another day, what will make players want to play hard? Bragging rights isn't enough. Organization and players are both choosing to sit more, which leads to issue number 3, punishment. And that is related to a solution that is going to be talked about later, but first we need to understand, how did the league fall into this mess in the first place? Athletes have been notorious for questionable decision making after signing a massive contract, especially very early on in their NBA career. LeBron has been the one rare exception in 2003 when Reebok and Nike offered him $100 million contracts before he even stepped foot in the NBA. And back then, almost no one was getting that contract, period. But LeBron's been the epitome of discipline. Yet NBA players go back a long way in sparking controversy and drama that could have ruined the entire league. Remember when NBA players went into the stands to throw hands with fans? David Stern was the same commissioner who suspended Ron Artest for the remainder of the 2004-05 season, which ended up being 86 games, including 13 playoff games, for his role in the infamous Malice at the Palace. He was strict on issues that affected how marketable the NBA was.
That would be great for the players, priceless for the league.
Almost preventing them. When Melo was running with some shady people in Baltimore back in 2006, David Stern told him that he was making an example out of him, suspended him for a minor on-court fight for 6 games, and said,
"It's office. You want to be in the streets or you want to be in the NBA? You the corporation now."
So he cracked down hard on things like dress codes, player behavior on and off the court, and the infamous Melo Stop Snitching video. Yeah, it's good he stepped in. Or how about the first case of load management in the league? The NBA fined the Spurs when they sat out Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, and Danny Green against the LeBron Wade Bosh Heat on a nationally televised game. A big matchup that was ruined. Commissioner at the time, David Stern, fined the Spurs $250 grand, stating that the Spurs did a disservice to the league and our fans, and for violating a policy of resting players in a manner contrary to the best interest of the NBA. And that fine was a slight deterrent from doing it again. But the statement he made was clear. It was big news. Arguments for both sides advocating this as a strategy and warning that this could ruin the NBA. Gilbert Arenas once got tagged with a 50-game suspension for bringing weapons into the locker room, not showing it in front of a live audience while intoxicated on Instagram Live like Ja Morant did, but he still got 50 games. If Ja did what he did back in the earlier days.
But Gil's situation a little different. He fake. You know what I'm saying? Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? But he bring that joint in the locker room, fake back his teammate down like, okay, stop playing with me. I'll buck you in here like what. You know what I'm saying? That's fake crazy. That's crazy. That's a 50-game suspension.
Just imagine how wild that penalty would have been. He was caught showing a weapon on IG Live in March, but got an 8-game suspension.
Nah, he definitely should have got way more than 25 though. Way more than 25 games. Me personally, I think he should have got the whole season. With all these events,
on the wrist. And then he did it again, not even 6 months later, got suspended again, but only for 25 games? Another slap on the wrist. Who is that deterring? Ever since 2010 or a decision, the NBA has quickly become a player-run league, and for a while, it was a good thing, progressing players' rights. But now, things are seemingly going a bit too far, and it's come to hurt the NBA. Seemingly
Yo, bro, what?
Going a bit too far. and it's
He
come
just got
to
off the
hurt
bench
the
and-
NBA and its brand significantly. So the solution is sort of simple, and the NBA has it set up perfectly with the new voting, but missed it by not including it in the new CBA agreement. For one, force players to honor their contracts. If they sign any max extension, they can't.
I ain't gonna lie, Adam Silver need to put his foot down, man. You see it's going in the wrong direction, get a grip on it. Stop it right there. You know what I'm saying? Before it gets too crazy.
For the first 2 years, or they lose 50% of their contract. Secondly, stop giving everyone a max contract. I understand that we have all NBA selections to increase the actual money amount, but reserve that right for the players who make first team All NBA. And because now voting is positionless and requires 65 games played, playing more is incentivized with more money and contractual increases. And most importantly, have the commissioners step in so we don't get a Zion or Ja-like situation. Have actual punishments, not tiptoeing around the truth, because tiptoeing around is what's gotten us in this mess. I'm sick and tired of seeing players demand trades after signing big contracts. Sick and tired of seeing players sit out key matchups. Tired of seeing players take for granted the opportunity. I just want to see the sport I love go back to its greatest heights. The only notification rush out goes to an OG Day One, Maria Joe.
That's the end of this one, y'all. This is crazy. This is a crazy video because I see somebody comment basically what bro said. A lot of what bro said. You know what I'm saying? And it was recently too. So I'm pretty sure they probably watched this video and commented after. You know what I'm saying? But they basically tried to say Bron cheated the game in all these ways. Basically. It was a little baffling to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, alright, you can't blame one man for the rest of the league's actions. You can't blame LeBron for load managing when he wasn't even the first one to do it. As you can see, like, you can't. How can you, how? She was also trying to blame LeBron for not being clutch and saying that's cheating the game. It's just baffling to me that some of y'all just have the most biased takes and can't see it. At least acknowledge it, you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to you straight, all for every time. Bro, you know what I'm saying? Can't be mad at me. Can't be mad at me. You know what I'm saying? We cooking. You know what I'm saying? We cooking. And if you get cooked, that's it. That's it, man. Just come back with some better ingredients. You know what I'm saying? Spin the block. That's all it is, man. I'm out of here, man. Word.